Good afternoon, everybody. Will everyone please rise? Scouts, present the colors. Mr. Jude Porter, Senior Patrol Leader, will lead us in the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance and Scout Oath.
Mouse on the screen.
Scout salute. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Scout sign. Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help others at all times, keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. 2. Post the colors. At ease.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Michael Wood, and I would like to welcome you to this very special Eagle Court of Honor for Connor Bernklow and Edmund Burke. There are a number of special guests with us this afternoon. I would like to take a few moments to introduce them. As I call your name, if you could please rise briefly so that we all know who you are. Connor's parents and siblings, Father Gary Bernklow, Mother Lori Bernklow, Sister Abigail Bernklow, and Grandmother Ruby Bernklow. And Edmund Burke's parents and siblings, Father Brian Burke, Mother Bernie Del Rosario, Sister Gwen Burke, and Grandmother Lee Burke. Thank you very much. Troop 1 Stowe Scoutmaster and Assistant Scoutmasters, John Paul Benoit, Gary Bernklow, and Eric Benoit. He's in the back.
He's in the back.
The overseeing committee for Troop 1, representing them is Mr. Chris Spear, who's the chairman. Representing the sponsoring organization from Troop 1 Stowe, the Troop 1 Stowe alumni, Mr. John Wood, the president. From the Massachusetts State Senate, Honorable Jamie Eldridge. And from the Massachusetts House of Representatives, the Honorable Kate Hogan. And representing the Stowe Board of Selectmen, Mr. Brian Burke. I will now ask Mr. Jim Flanagan, Coordinator of Youth Ministries for St. Isidore's and St. Elizabeth's Parish, to give the invocation. Will everyone please rise?
I didn't get to stand, so usually I have some smarty comment to make about the gentleman before I say something and pray, but I really don't have it. And the reason for it is that I was thinking as I was coming in Camp Resolute. My son has gone there the last 2 years, and it's been just a wonderful, wonderful experience. I live in Norwood, so he's part of PAC 49. But anyway, I just started to think about that and how wonderful it has been for him. And I don't know Teddy very well, but Connor I do. And I hope that my son will grow in scouting the way that Connor does. So let us pray. Dear God, we thank you for the gift of this beautiful day, both inside and out. We thank you, God, for the gift of letting us come together for the awesome occasion to celebrate Connor Bernklow and Teddy Burke and their accomplishment of the Eagle Scout Award today. We thank you, Lord, for the gift of Connor and Teddy, who they are to God, their country, their family and friends, to this troop and to the community. We thank you, God, for the gifts of Connor and Teddy's parents, their family, their friends, their pack and troop leaders, and for their presence celebrating with Teddy and Connor this day. Lord, we ask that you continue to bless Teddy and Connor in their lives. Let them feel your embrace each and every day. May their faith in you and the Scout community and all it stands for continue to shape these amazing young men to better serve you and your people. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Flanagan. Friends and scouts, please be seated. To put the Eagle rank into perspective, let me give you some background information. The Eagle Scout Award is Scouting's highest rank and among its most familiar icons. Men who have earned it counted it among their most treasured possessions. Those who've missed it by a whisker remember exactly which requirement they didn't complete. Americans from all walks of life know that being an Eagle Scout is a great honor, even if they don't know what the badge means. The award is more than a badge, it's a state of being. You are an Eagle Scout, you never were. You may receive the badge when you were a boy, but you earn it every day as a man. In the words of the Eagle Scout promise, you do your best each day to make your training an example. Your rank and your influence count strongly for better scouting and for better citizenship in your troop, in your community, and in your contacts with other people. And to this you pledge your sacred honor. In scouting, the Eagle stands for strength of character and for knowledge of all phases of scouting. The Eagle represents an understanding of your community and nation and a deep respect for both. The Eagle is a symbol of what a young man has done as well as what any young man can do, and what will be when he grows to manhood. It represents many years of dedicated effort and the successful completion of a long process that started when the young man became a Boy Scout. From 1912 to 2019, more than 2.5 million Boy Scouts have earned the Eagle Scout rank. The Eagle Scout rank is earned by only about 4% of Boy Scouts each year. Here in Troop 1 Stowe, that number is close to 10%. And that has a lot to do with the two guys behind me. Since they took over the troop, there has been 67 Eagle Scouts. Let's give them a round of applause. And I got that number because I counted. I went over there and found a close shirts. Edmund Burke is the 81st, and Connor Bernklow is the 82nd Eagle Scout of Troop 1 Stowe. First organized by the Reverend Claude Calkins of the Union Evangelical Church, the troop received our original charter in 1916, and it was signed by Presidents Woodrow Wilson, William Howard Taft, and Theodore Roosevelt. Honor Guard, please escort before this court of honor Eagle candidates Connor Bernklow and Edmund Burke. At this time, I would like to introduce John Paul Benoit, Scoutmaster, Troop 1 Stowe, who will officially open this Eagle Court of Honor.
When it came to the first time we had to, that we honored a scout for Eagle, I wasn't wearing glasses. It's been quite a ride. Good afternoon, honored guests, ladies, gentlemen, and scouts. Today we have the pleasure of recognizing Connor and Edmund for the Award of Eagle Scout. Edmund's, I'm sorry, can I say Teddy?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm also going to say
It'd be weird if you did it.
Today we have the honor and pleasure of recognizing Connor and Teddy for the Award of the Eagle Scout. Teddy's and Connor's parents and Scout leaders have labored long and faithfully to develop them towards responsible citizenship to the Boy Scout program. Their efforts now accumulate in the presentation of the Eagle Award. Their efforts, however, will only manifest in the way these new Eagle Scouts set their social pattern for the lives that they touch. By the authority invested in me by the National Court of Honor of the Boy Scouts in America, I do hereby declare this Eagle Court of Honor now open. At this time, due to a busy schedule, I would like to ask the Honorable Jamie Eldridge to say a few words.
Thank you so much, and I apologize for having to leave early to attend a couple other community events despite the snow all the events are on. I want to thank Troop 1 and the Bernklo and Burke families for inviting me to be part of this special ceremony, and I'm just so appreciative of how much the Boy Scouts and particularly Eagle Scouts give back to our communities. And just having a chance to read the program about Teddy's Eagle Scout project, constructing a little tree library at the Lake Boone Beach, and Connor's project of building a U.S. flag retirement box and corresponding ceremonial fire pit right here at the Pompano Community Center really highlights, I think, how the Boy Scouts and especially Eagle Scouts really strengthen the community institutions in each of the communities that I certainly represent and across the state and across the country. So Teddy and Connor, I want to congratulate you on your achievement for giving back to your community. And I do have citations here, so if you want to stand next to me, I can present those to you. And these are official citations from the State Senate. And it says, "Be it hereby known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Teddy Burke and Connor Bernklo in recognition of your outstanding achievement in attaining the highest rank in scouting, Eagle Scout, and be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success." And these citations are signed by Senate President Karen Spilka and myself. So congratulations and good luck in the future.
Thank you, Senator. I'm going to put this back down. A little shorter. Thank you, Senator. I would like to ask Mr. Jeff Tyler of the Troop, he's the Troop 1 Eagle coach, to introduce the rank presentations.
Thank you, Mike. I'd like to take a few minutes to describe the path that Teddy and Connor followed on their way to the Eagle rank. The pathway to Eagle can be likened to a steep trail leading up to 3 progressively higher peaks, the highest being that of Eagle Scout. Officially, the trail starts with the Scout rank and continues through Tenderfoot, Second, and First Class. Then the climb really begins. The path is marked with merit badges, leadership responsibilities, service projects, and the practice of scouting skills and ideals. The first peak reached is that of Star Scout. If we have any Star Scouts here, would they please come and wave a quick hand? The second is Life Scout. Life Scouts? There we go. A few. And finally, Eagle Scout. We'll get to them later. As the troop Eagle coach, I'd like to describe what Connor and Teddy did to get their Eagle Scout ranks. They were active in the troop for at least 6 months after earning the rank of Life Scout. They earned a minimum of 21 merit badges. They served at least 6 months in troop leadership positions, Teddy as senior patrol leader and Connor as assistant senior patrol leader. They both planned, developed, and gave leadership to others in an approved Eagle service project. Teddy's project was building and installing a free little library kiosk at Pine Bluff. Connor's project was to install a flag retirement box and a ceremonial fire pit here at the Pompano Community Center. To complete their projects, both scouts showed the ability to plan a project and lead others in carrying it out. They both had to obtain many necessary town approvals and renewals prior to beginning their projects, and both worked closely with their sponsoring organizations. For Teddy, this was the Stowe Recreation Department, and for Connor, it was the Stowe Fire Department. Connor and Teddy then participated in a Scoutmasters Conference, where they were reviewed by a board later, and this board included representatives from Mayflower Council, as well as members from Troop 1 Stowe. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. The Scout movement constitutes one of the most responsible and wholesome developments of our time. Edmund, Connor, you will be asked to assume a solemn obligation to do your duty to God, to your country, and to your fellow citizens. Will Scoutmaster John Paul Benoit please take his place in front of the candidates to deliver the Eagle Scout Sergeant oath? No.
Before I begin, I would like to invite all the Eagle Scouts in the audience to come forward. Please stand behind Teddy and Connor as a symbol of brotherhood. Move those chairs back. A little twist to our program. We have the great fortune of seeing other programs throughout the area, and this script has been modified for the first time. Adds a nice touch. At this time, I would like to take a moment to hear from our Eagle Scouts gathered here. Could you each please tell us your name, where and when you earned your Eagle, and what was the most difficult badge? For example, my name is John Paul Benoit. I earned my Eagle here in Troop 1 Stowe back in 1984. And I would have to say my most difficult merit badge was safety. And that was because I had to watch the traffic on 117. And at that time, it was about 25 cars an hour.
My name is Quinn Gross. I earned my Eagle in 2017. And my most difficult badge was probably citizenship in the nation, because it took a while. A lot of talking.
Hi, my name is Chris Dupuy, and I earned my Eagle back in 1984, same year as Gary and John Paul, with Troop 2 Marlboro. And it's been a long time since I've had to do a merit badge, so I can't remember which one was the hardest, to be perfectly honest. So I just thought I'd make a joke and say basket weaving.
Eric Benoit. I earned my Eagle in 2012 with Troop 1 Stowe, and my most difficult would have been environmental science.
I'm Nick, Troop 160. I got my Eagle this year. My hardest was probably fingerprinting. It takes about an hour. I've had 5 opportunities to do it, and I've never done it.
My name's Eli Bachtel. I got my Eagle Scout in 2016 with Troop 1 Stowe. My most difficult merit badge, I guess I'd say wilderness survival, because we went outside and we had to build like a shelter to sleep in overnight, and mine was in the middle of the summer, and all I brought with me was a winter sleeping bag, and I was sweating so much, and there was also so many mosquitoes. It was a terrible experience.
My name is Michael Bernklow, and I got my Eagle Scout with Troop 1 Stowe in 2006, and my hardest badge was personal management, because I'm really bad at managing myself.
I'm John Peters. I got my Eagle Award in 2005 with Troop 1 Stowe as well, and I have to say one of the citizenship badges were probably the hardest for me.
I'm John Wood. I got my Eagle badge in the year 2000. The badges came easy to me. My hardest thing was making sure Mike got his.
Gary Bernklow got my Eagle with Troop 1 Stowe in 2000. I wish. 1984 with John Paul, 35 years ago. And my hardest badge was lifesaver.
Mike Wood, I got my Eagle in 2000 with John. My hardest merit badge was wilderness survival, because I was not going to survive at whatever monstrosity that basketry was pretty bad too.
I was going to say basketry was definitely your hardest badge. That was a terrible basket.
I would have been kicked out of the tribe.
My name is Jack Perkins. I got my Eagle in 2014. My hardest merit badge was communications, because I'm not good at communicating whatsoever.
I'm Peter Jeltzma. I got my Eagle here at Troop 1 Stowe in 2010. Citizenship badges were the most troublesome for me.
My name is Christian Gross. I got my Eagle in 1977 at Minnesota, Minneapolis. And I think the hardest badge probably was a few of them, but environmental science was definitely one up there.
I'm Jeff Tyler. I got my Eagle in 2005 with Troop 1 Stowe, and I never completed it, but fishing merit badge, we had to catch a fish, and Camp Resolute never had any fish in the pond, so that's why I never got that badge.
There was plenty of fish, you just couldn't catch them. Thank you. Teddy and Connor, through the words you use will be similar to those by which you joined Scouting. Today they will mean more than they could ever meant in the past. When you pledge yourself on your sacred word of honor, you'll be sealing your eternal loyalty to the code of the Eagle Scout with the words which close the Declaration of Independence. Will the audience please rise? Scout attention. Teddy, we will start with you. Scout sign and repeat after me, please. I, Edmund Burke,
I, Edmund Burke,
reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself
I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself
the obligations and responsibilities of the rank of Eagle Scout.
the obligations and the responsibilities of the rank of Eagle Scout.
On my honor, I will do my best
On my honor, I will do my best
to make my training and examples,
to make my training and examples,
my rank and my influence,
my rank and my influence,
to strongly count for better scouting
to strongly count for better scouting
and for better citizenship in my troop,
and for better citizenship in my troop,
in my community, and in my contacts with other people.
in my community, and in my contacts with other people.
To this, I pledge my sacred honor.
To this, I pledge my sacred honor.
Two. Connor, Scout sign, please, and repeat after me. I, Connor Burnklow,
I, Connor Burklow,
reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself
I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself
the obligations and responsibilities of the rank of Eagle Scout.
the obligations and responsibilities of the rank of Eagle Scout.
On my honor, I will do my best
On my honor, I will do my best
to make my training and examples,
to make my training and examples,
my rank and my influence,
my rank and my influence,
to strongly count for better scouting
to strongly count for better scouting
and for better citizenship in my troop,
and for better citizenship in my troop,
in my community, and in contacts with other people.
in my community, and in my contacts with other people.
To this, I pledge my sacred honor.
To this, I pledge my sacred honor.
Two. Audience, please be seated. Fellow Eagle Scouts, thank you for being present. You may be seated. You might want to just wait there. Yes. At this time, I would like the Scouts to escort Teddy and Connor's parents to the front. By the authority invested in me by the Mayflower Council and the National Court of Honor of Boy Scouts of America, it is my privilege and pleasure to pronounce you both Eagle Scouts. Your responsibility goes The Boy Scouts of America is proud to award the rank of Eagle Scout to Edmund Burke, Troop 1 Stowe, Massachusetts, in recognition of successful completion of all the requirements of Scouting's highest rank, dated October 10th, 2018, by the National Chair, signed by the National Chair, the Chief Scout Executive, Honorary President, and National Commissioner. Congratulations. The Boy Scouts of America is proud to award the rank of Eagle Scout to Connor R. Burnklow of Troop 1 Stowe, Massachusetts, in recognition of successful completion of all the requirements of the Scout's highest rank. Dated November 14, 2018, signed by the National Chair, Chief Executive, Honorary President, and National Commissioner. Congratulations. Your responsibility goes beyond your fellow Scouts. I charge you to undertake your citizenship with solemn dedication. Be a leader, but lead only towards the best. Live up to every task that you do and every office that you hold to the highest level of service. And you will both leave behind a record of which every Scout will be proud of. To the mother belongs the honor of pinning on the chest the badge of the Eagle Scout. That's okay, he has first aid merit badge. It's equal. Somebody. Teddy, as a token of appreciation for all that your mother has done for you to encourage you to achieve the rank of Eagle, I would like you to present her with her miniature Eagle pin. I would also ask that you present your father with a token of appreciation for all that he has done. Connor, to show your mother appreciation for all that she has done and all the support that she's given to you, I would ask that you present your mother with a miniature Eagle pin. Show some appreciation. I would also ask that you present to your father a token of your appreciation for all that he has done.
You got more. You worked hard.
At this time, parents can have their seat. However, Teddy and Connor, you gotta stay.
Thank you, John Paul. It is now part of the program to hear from our distinguished guests. I'd like to invite the Honorable Kate Hogan of the Massachusetts House of Representatives to read her commendation.
Good afternoon, everybody. I wondered this morning, would this ceremony be canceled? And I thought, this is an Eagle Scout. These people like live in this weather. They love this weather. This is great weather for them. So I didn't even bother to look around. I knew to just show up with my resolutions from the House of Representatives. But I do try in every way possible to make it to these ceremonies because it is an important step that young men take in this program. And when they talk about the difficulty of citizenship badges, I had to smile a little because I believe that leaders are born, but they are also given help along the way, and I do believe that scouting is one of those ways. You have character, but you also build character, and this program does that. And it is also it's great and wonderful in my life that over the last 10 years of my service, I've seen these young men grow up and begin to serve their communities with examples of their father, their mothers, and to know how important it is to be a public servant and that it is a great honor. And I think that the Boy Scouts teach that as well. So it is my great pleasure to offer resolutions from the House of Representatives congratulating Connor and congratulating Teddy on their installation of the Little Free Public Library. Great work, Teddy. Libraries are important. And for Connor, who installed an American flag retirement box and retirement ceremony. I've seen many of those ceremonies, and it is important work, and it is great to honor and let a flag take its rest as it represents the great values of our country. So these are both from members of the House of Representatives, and we are very happy to present these. They're offered by Robert DeLeo and very humbly by your state representative, Kate Hogan. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you, Ms. Hogan. I would like to invite Selectman Brian Burke to read the Stowe Board of Selectmen commendation.
On behalf of your town of Stowe, Connor and Edmund, I would like to read to you the official citation that was voted on by the Stowe Board of Selectmen, where we extend in each our warmest congratulations in recognition of your induction into the Eagle Court of Honor on March 2nd, 2019, and be it further known that the Stowe Selectmen extend their best wishes for your future successes. And I just want to say a few words of appreciation that I hope are in keeping with the solemnity of the occasion. Many of you know me, and many of you know that the 79 or so Eagle Scouts that Stowe Troop 1 has produced over the past 80 years all deserve and are admirable young men, deserving and admirable young men who are a credit to the Eagle Scout rank. But I just want to say, without reservation or doubt, that every single one of those Eagle Scouts, both here and who are not here, got more assistance in scouting than from their fathers, and maybe even mothers, than Teddy did. Scoutmaster Gary Bernkow attended with Teddy his Court of Review this past August to September. And one of the questions that the Board of Review had for Teddy was, were your parents very helpful in your scouting? And Edmund, being an Eagle Scout, looked at his shoes and said, no, my father's not very good at scouting. And Gary Burnklow, as he was like the baritone from a Gilbert and Sullivan operetta, repeated, not very good at scouting. Which is entirely true, but it's beside the point. The point I'm trying to make here is I've been keenly aware of how unhelpful I was to Edmund in comparison to all the other parents of scouts, and how much he had to do on his own. For example, when we went on that Cooperstown trip, I'm not good at scouting. I don't like the woods. When we went on the Cooperstown trip, I think I stepped on Dave's step in the middle of the night because I had to go to my car and sleep there with the engine running. And we would go to, I would try to assist him. I made a contract for Edmund because I'm a lawyer, so that he would fulfill his duties. And I will be marking that paid in full. But I would go to the Wednesday Scout meetings every so often, and I would always forget something, or I wouldn't be able to do things. Eric Bechtel, we had this project once where all the... we would have these engineering projects to do, and Eric would do his and his son's, and then he would do a couple more just on his own. I couldn't even get the first one down. I mean, at one time, I dropped Ted off at a camping rendezvous, and I thought he was in the back seat, just being unusually quiet. I had to turn around and go back and get him. You've done that, Jeff, right? And I would come home after every Wednesday night, and I would sit down with Bernie, and I would say, oh, JP gave me a dirty look again. JP thinks I'm a terrible scout father. JP has no... JP is just disgusted with me. And this happens so often, and this is entirely true. At some point, my wife got so fed up. Bernie said to me, you know, I think you care more about what JP thinks of you than what I think of you. Which is, again, entirely true, but entirely beside the point. What I just want to say here in appreciation is that Edmund could not have made it to the rank of Eagle Scout if he didn't have help from Scoutmasters Burnklow and Benoit, if he didn't have help from the fathers, from the other Eagle Scouts in this troop to help him on his way, and for all of those who had to work harder with Edmund than they perhaps should have because I couldn't help as much as I would have liked to, I thank you. And I thank you on behalf of our entire family.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. I can't remember if you were the one who crashed the U-Haul in California or Montana. It was him?
And he got pulled over by the police.
And you got pulled over. And that was the one trip I've been on with you. Number two.
Slow and steady wins the race.
I would now like to invite the not as funny Mr. John Wood, president of the troop chartering organization, Troop One Stowe alumni, to the podium.
Just get something from the back here. On behalf of Troop One Stowe alumni, it is my pleasure to award Connor and Edmund with memberships in the National Eagle Scout Association. Congratulations, gentlemen. We look forward to having you join the TOSA ranks.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. That was very moving. Would Mr. Eli Bechtel, Troop 1 Stowe Eagle Scout, please come forward to present the flag of the United States to Connor and Teddy on behalf of Troop 1 Committee?
Okay. I have here a flag and certificate to present to both Connor and Teddy, and I'll just read off what they say because I think it says it pretty well. This is to certify that the accompanying flag was flown over the United States Capitol at the request of Honorable Edward Markey, United States Senator. This flag was flown in honor of Connor Burnklow for achieving the rank of Eagle Scout with the Boy Scouts of America. And I'm just going to do them both at the same time. And this one is for Teddy Burke. This is to certify that the accompanying flag was flown over the United States Capitol. This flag was flown at the request of Honorable Nikki Tsongas, a member of Congress, for Teddy Burke in honor of achieving the rank of Eagle Scout.
Thank you, Eli. At this time, it's one of our favorite parts of this whole presentation. It's a slideshow featuring Connor and Teddy's scouting careers crafted by Gary Burklaw, Assistant Scoutmaster for Troop 1.
This is a slideshow tribute, so there's no embarrassing pictures at all from the Scouts, just so you all know.
I'm sorry.
Just keep pressing it. It took a while before. It's not on. So as Mike mentioned, I do this traditionally for all of our Eagle Scouts, and needless to say, I was prepared for Connors. Typically the way I do this is I ask everyone in the troop that has pictures of any of the Scouts to send them to me, and then I prepare a slideshow. In this case, I had all of Connor's pictures, and we had, I think there were several thousand that I had. And I had a couple hundred of Teddy as well, which is remarkable. There's quite a few of both of them together, but we want to start off by exploring their career, their life outside of Scouts. Hold on. Okay. So that is Connor, believe it or not, and that's actually my dad. And I lost my dad a few years ago, and I just wanted to say that I really think he would have been proud of Connor. So I had to at least get one picture of him in here. So, and not to be outdone, there's Teddy, and that's not Teddy's dad behind him, I don't think. But the guy behind him is probably just as good at scouting as Brian. Connor had the fortune to be godson of John Paul Benoit, which requires us to bring him to the fire station every now and then when he was a baby, so we could prop him up on the apparatus. Teddy, when he found out he wasn't Batman, and a nice moment here. I don't know what you're reading, but obviously he's into it. And Connor and his sister. So on the beach, down on the Cape. Teddy, scarfing down the fries. Nice. Connor with his haircut. I'm telling you, Rhonda, it's a tough day out there. He looks like he's just out of a business meeting. And probably the single greatest picture I've ever taken. Nice. In a minute we'll get into their scouting careers. The rest of these pictures are going to be all scouting related, but there are a few from their civilian lives. And quite a few of them both together, and several with Eli. I think I pulled this out of Eli's Eagle presentation at some point. That's Teddy on the right, Connor on the far left. First grade presentation. And another one of the both of them celebrating, and of course, the best, that one. That's the As I said, quite a few of both of them together. Connor on a whitewater rafting expedition in Wyoming. This is the expedition where Tim, right next to him, Tim Benoit, started to float away, and we had to rescue him. And Teddy at camp, holding, I don't know what that is. It looks like jerky, I don't know.
I think it's jerky.
Okay. As part of their Cub Scout careers, they both went to WAVM over in Maynard, right, to play with their video equipment. At least a couple of times. I don't know who this is. Is that Jack? Oh my God. Jack's not here today, but I wish he was. Oh my God, that's fantastic. As always, the highlight of the years for Cub Scouts is the Pinewood Derby, and there's Connor right here, one of his first. I think the first, is that Teddy over here?
Yep.
And Teddy right there? I think this is you did the best your first year, and it was downhill after that, right, Connor? Pretty much. Teddy, you won it one year, right?
I think that both of us, we did best our first year.
One of your blue and gold banquets. More Cub Scout action photos. I don't know what you're doing, Teddy, but it's great. Memorial Day parade, maybe? And here's one of those contraptions that Brian was talking about. It was a marshmallow catapult. And yeah, mine worked. I don't know. Just saying. You did obviously create the Pinewood Derby car. This was over in Marlboro, that guy that does the cutouts for you. So, and if Teddy won one year, then you did all right. You did okay, Brian. Don't be so hard on yourself. Well, Bernie did it. Okay. Now that makes sense. All right. The Cub Scouts were introduced pretty quickly to hiking in the woods. We were very active. There were actually 2 Weeblos dens when Connor first joined. Teddy was not in Connor's den the first 2 years, I think, but then kind of joined together and did the I don't remember what this is, rain gutter regatta. Is that right? And did some camping. Scout is clean, so you can see this mess that's in here. Look at all the chips all over the bag and everything. That's just like...
Just asking for bears.
That's right. You want bears? That's how you get bears.
That's right.
This is actually one of the breakfast hikes when Connor was still a Cub Scout. And Scout is clean. Yep. Way to go, Teddy. And this is both of them were one of the hikes who went into the National Wildlife Refuge over in Sudbury. Quite the hams there. There's 3 Eagle Scouts in this picture, so that's pretty impressive. Wasn't long before you guys became Weeblos, and I believe this is you, Teddy, becoming a Weeblo, or just after you became a Weeblo. And looking to make a speech of some sort, just like your dad?
No.
No.
He's asleep.
Connor had the misfortune, as I said, of having me as a father, and I dragged him on a bunch of Troop 1 outings when he was probably too young to go on them. This was, still as a Cub Scout, he came on one of our canoe trips, week-long canoe trips, in which I think it rained every single day, every minute of every day, for 5 straight days. It was brutal. It was a brutal trip. So we're all soaked, but it's not because we swamped the canoes. Back to the Pinewood Derby, and Connor and Teddy are now in the same den. Cooper. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And Eli and Nate. Yeah, they're both here. That's great. This was actually when you crossed over, I believe, to the Boy Scouts. Again, both in the same den. And I don't have any pictures of Teddy actually crossing the bridge, but I do have several of Connor. So I hope you'll forgive me, Brian, I didn't have those. And I didn't want you to think I overloaded the slideshow with Connor pictures, that's all.
If I was a good scouting father,
If you were a good scouting father, that's right. you would-
Well, let's say everyone's a winner.
Right after crossing over, one of the first things you guys did was go to Boy Scout camp, and you both attended camp many times, and both did the archery thing at camp, and you both went to Cooperstown immediately after you crossed over, pretty close to after you crossed over as well. And I think Cooperstown's a very fun trip. Connor's a huge baseball fan, so he really liked it. But this is the gang at the Baseball Hall of Fame. And both Connor and Teddy met Jackie Robinson. That's the real Jackie Robinson.
That's actually him?
No, it's not. They have an actor that portrays Jackie Robinson, and both Connor and Teddy got a picture with him. And at summer camp, getting some awards. We always have a court of honor at the end of summer camp, and both Teddy and Connor earning their merit badges. A good portion of the merit badges that they earned for Eagle were earned at summer camp. This is actually at the Troop 100th anniversary dinner, 2012. Connor, we had him bussing tables, handing out cake, and of course with his godfather and Scoutmaster at the Collings Foundation for our 100th anniversary celebration. Memorial Day Parade is a big day for us. We want all of our scouts to attend the Memorial Day Parade, so we have quite a few pictures of the scouts in parades and random photos of Teddy and Connor. Now, one thing that Connor did that Teddy didn't do, because I pushed Connor and got him into the scouting a little bit early, was attend the 2012 California backpacking expedition. So Connor was actually probably the youngest scout ever to go on one of our high adventure trips. He was just over 11 years old, 11 years and 5 months, when we went on our California expedition, which is it's a tough thing. It's 6 days of backpacking, carrying a 40-pound backpack with all your food, all your water, everything, across 45 miles of wilderness. And it's a tough thing to do, and it's very impressive actually that he succeeded in as good a disposition as possible. He really didn't complain the whole time. He did great. And these are some of the trail photos from there. Yes, he is mini-me. So forgive me, Teddy, I have a few of Connor in California. This is actually a ghost town out there in California. It's pretty neat. And of course, Yosemite. This was the group that Connor was assigned to. Good bunch of guys. This is actually on the trail. This is one of the day hikes that we took. Beautiful country. Lake Tahoe, we visited Lake Tahoe for a little while. And of course, the redwoods in Yosemite. And obviously couldn't get a picture of the whole tree because they're a little bit large. But back here in Stowe, Teddy participating in one of our freeze-outs, I believe, or a breakfast hike in the town forest, march outing. And Connor at Gillette. And on one of our canoe trips up in Maine. Actually, I think this one was New York. Yes. That was New York. So Brian mentioned that he wasn't very good at scouting, but he attended many outings, and in fairness to Brian, he did fine. Okay? I don't know what he's worried about. He did fine. And this is one of our outings that we had in a place called Treasure Valley. And we stayed in a cabin with electricity and heat and everything. Everybody had a great time. And somebody had brought a chess set, so the kids were playing chess. And I think, Connie, you lost this, right? And this was that same outing. We did some snowshoeing up to a big boulder. It was pretty interesting. But that's Connor and Teddy in the back there. This is Connor. Now, this isn't racist. Connor is Mexican. Okay? So he can get away with this.
The concern's the booze.
If you'll notice, I think that's handwritten tequila.
I wrote that. I made that.
It's non-alcoholic.
Yeah, it's non-alcoholic tequila. So. Teddy, meanwhile, helping out at one of the Easter Bunny breakfasts. Didn't volunteer to be the bunny. I'm disappointed in you, Ted. This is at Camp Resolute. And this is at one of our veterans breakfasts. One of the things that's great about both Connor and Teddy is they volunteered for every veterans breakfast, I think, going back 10 years, as far as I know. It is both of them always present, always working those veterans breakfasts. Fantastic. This is actually Connor doing some curling, which the troop did last year or 2 years ago. And I have to say, it's much harder than it looks. If you've never done curling, really, really hard. Well, Connor had the shot of the day. He threw the stone. I think he fell down and flipped over and did some stuff, but the stone actually went down and he scored like 10 points. It was unbelievable. All skill, I'm sure. This is one of our canoe trips out on the, up on, what is this? This is the West Branch of the Penobscot, just a couple years ago. And Teddy, right on you. Yeah, this is Teddy right here. This was the biggest splash competition, I think? Maybe? You look terrified, but here you go. That's single greatest picture I've ever taken of Teddy. Or somebody's taken. Maybe I didn't take this, I don't know. This is during the Apache relay at camp, and you can see the intensity. We're in first place here, and that's second place right there. They got to get up and onto the dock. So Teddy's well in the lead. And this is the finish line. And he didn't close his mouth the whole time. But we were victorious, so it is a big deal. When the Apache relay, that's a good thing. I don't know what this is, but I put it in here because I'm hoping you could shed some light on this.
Oh, so we were assigned, well, we weren't assigned, we decided to prank the staff at camp. And so
they were handing out roses, so.
You made a fake Resolute Buck sheet.
And that's
right?
why the numbers.
You hung it on the flagpole, too.
I got it.
That's why the numbers that too.
Okay. Teddy in the back here, and Connor are over here hiding behind Nick. And this was a group photo at summer camp as well. Teddy in the back next to me, and Connor right in front. And this was not Boy Scout related, but still a good picture nonetheless. And this was a breakfast hike recently, had to be recently, in the last couple of years. This was the group photo for our trip to Montana in 2016, and the troop does a huge high adventure trip every 4 years, so if you're not familiar with it. So 2012 we went to California, 2016 we backpacked in Montana. By that time, Connor obviously wasn't 11 years old anymore, and was actually one of the leaders was the patrol leader of our group. And Teddy was eligible to go on this trip. And you can see him over here in the back, on the side. And Connor is somewhere in there too. Oh, right here. Yeah. And this was us at the airport getting ready to go. Another photo of both of them on the plane heading out to Montana. And this was actually in the woods in Montana on the trail. This was first day, maybe? First day on the trail for Connor. This was the day hike we went on. After we got off the trail, we did some touring in Glacier National Park, and we did a day hike. And this was after the day hike when all the scouts were exhausted and came back and just kind of sat on the porch of this National Park Service lodge.
Saw some waterfalls today.
Saw some waterfalls, right. This is on the trail again, in the backpacking portion. And Teddy's group, we had to break up into 4 groups, and Connor and Teddy were not in the same group, unfortunately. And they all did different trails. So there'll be different photos of everyone. This is Teddy's group photo. And Teddy on the trail, hiking through some water. And this is a group photo at kind of the highest point that we encountered on the trail for our group, me and Connor. Nice hat, Teddy. I gotta, yeah, that's just. And this is at the end of one of our hikes. It's tiring, believe me. Granite Creek Trailhead, Nate and Teddy. And Teddy's group I think this is in Glacier National Park. Yeah. Tell by the mountains in the back. Oh, repeat. Well, I got rid of them all, I'm sorry. One of the beautiful things about backpacking in the wilderness is the meals you get to eat, where you pour hot water in a bag, and then you eat some sort of sludge that it makes. The
The freeze dry, but it was my favorite.
The kids love them. They're fantastic. But after 3 or 4 days, you're looking for something solid to chew. This was on the trail. That's actually Connor, and one of the better pictures I have. And Teddy. Chili mac with beef. Yeah, can't beat that. So enjoyable. This was the chow line every night that we had when we were base camping. When we were not backpacking, we would line up and we'd have a patrol do all the cooking, and one patrol do all the cooking, and everyone else just kind of lines up and get to their meals. And I will say, actually, before I get to that, Brian actually volunteered to be basically, from Wagon Train, Cookie, the guy that sits back at camp and helps us with all the cooking and all the stuff that base camp needs. So with some other people, that's fine, but you volunteered to do that, and you did an excellent job. So scouting stuff off to the side, that's fine. You really came through for us when it came to this. So this is, I think, Teddy, on one of our horseback expeditions. So I apologize for the quality of the picture. It's a little out of focus, but is that you, Teddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so, yeah. It's too bad I don't have the one of Eli on here, but this is Connor at Logan Pass again in Montana on the Continental Divide. Here you go. That's my favorite picture of Teddy. This is actually in Glacier National Park. Yeah, those are clouds. And this is on the trail, I think. You see how crystal clear the water is. Kids had a great time. I think they'll tell you that the trip to Montana was pretty impressive. Sitting around the fire is always an enjoyable time on any outing. One of the things we did also was this ropes course one of the days. That's Teddy up in the trees. And this is Teddy on the trail. So you can see, this is a day hike in Glacier National Park. And yeah, we do have to point out the fanny pack that Teddy's wearing up front, like it's 1983. Beautiful. Is there a story behind that, Mike?
Yeah, we ended up running into some trail babes. And, Teddy had so much confidence. I was so proud. He's like, yeah, I got a fanny pack, so what?
This is the full group photo of Montana, and both Teddy and Connor over here. This is a leadership outing. We don't have too many pictures of those because we don't take very many pictures of leadership outings. But again, Teddy and Connor together, like I said, there's a lot of pictures of them both together. And this is a blue and gold banquet that Teddy helped out with when he was senior patrol leader. This is Connor at the Springfield Armory, loading the weapons, getting ready to take over. And another picture from another Cooperstown trip. We've been there 3 or 4 times. And this is a veterans breakfast as well, as is this one. And summer camp, when they're both leaders. And Teddy teaching a skill. What was your skill that you were teaching at this leadership outing, Teddy?
I think I was teaching compass.
Map and compass, I believe, but I think you forgot the map, if I remember right.
Something like that.
Again, I mentioned the Veterans Breakfast. We have a lot of pictures of Connor and Teddy at Veterans Breakfast, and here they are serving food on one of them a couple years ago. And this is one of the most recent canoe trips that Connor went on. Again, the West Branch of the Penobscot up in northern Maine. And a Memorial Day parade, just a fantastic photo. I think Karen Benoit actually took this one. And the Christmas party. Teddy picked his bag, he's all set to go. I don't know where this is. This is actually Connor's uncle's wedding, but it's a really great picture of him and Lori, so I had to throw this one in there too. One of my favorite pictures of Teddy is not this one, but this is over in Knobscott on top of the fire tower. My favorite picture, you see Teddy right here in the middle, is this one where he is literally saying, "I can see my house." And he could. You could see the house from there. Again, a Veterans Day breakfast. And I don't know where that is. Cape Cod, okay. And this was thrown in, Brian, you sent me this one, I don't know what this is. Any context here? Just an interesting photo. And we get to some, now I'm positive, so this was the Hale basketball tournament team, right?
Yes. At Neshoba.
And I'm positive Teddy's in here. I just don't, he's in the back somewhere, behind somebody. I didn't realize you couldn't see him until I created the slideshow, so sorry, Teddy. And this is Connor and some of his football pals along with Eli. There you go. Look at that dapper guy. And obviously some sort of athletic triumph for you, Teddy. Connor, obviously football was a big part of his high school life outside of scouting, and some action photos there. And of course, the state championship trophy, if you're unaware, Connor's high school team, a fair number of whom are sitting in the back right now, did win the state championship this year. It was a fantastic thing. But we do want to finish up with just talking a little bit about their projects. This is Teddy's project. It's at the Stowtown Beach. And you can see they're preparing the ground here, building this little stand for the kiosk, the little library kiosk. This is what it looks like. Very impressive project. Came out great. Still being used as far as I know. Hasn't been destroyed, which is always great. And some of the folks that helped them out to build it. And Connor's project, of course, was to build the flag retirement box, which sits right outside here. You can see it on your way out if you want. And did all the painting, all the lettering on this box. And he also built a fire pit and had several members of the football team help him out to build the fire pit. So again, Jack Wood, who's had that great picture earlier on, I have to send him that. Sam Valinsky and Evan Doig helped them out. And so the fire pit's out in the back. You probably don't want to trudge through the snow to see it. You don't, it's just a fire pit. And this is what the completed project looked like. And finally, I just wanted to say congratulations to both of you. Very worthy of the Eagle Scout tradition here in Stowe, and very proud of both of you.
All right, thank you, Gary. Now this time, would Scoutmaster John Paul Benoit and Assistant Scoutmaster Gary Burnkel please come forward to make the Scoutmaster's presentation.
Before I begin, just to add on to Brian Burks' comments, Gary and I have been in the troop for a very, very long time. As you heard earlier, we were both Eagle Scouts at Troop 1 Stowe. I won't tell you when we started. But we had the great pleasure of presenting 67 Scouts their Eagle Award. A lot more Scouts certainly deserve the rank of Eagle Scout, but did not meet the requirements. Every Scout is very unique in some way. Connor, I think the first words out of his mouth when he was born was the Scout Oath and Scout Law. Never mind Mom or Dad, it was Scout is trustworthy, loyal. Teddy, When he first joined Scouts, I was like, oh no. But Teddy prevailed. Teddy is a fantastic. Teddy, did you bring a permission slip? Teddy, you go into this? But Teddy, you're a very young, very responsible young man, and it's been a great pleasure to have both you in the Boy Scout program. As a father of Eagle Scouts, it is very fulfilling, very rewarding to present my own boys with Eagle badges. And I'm sure for Gary, having his son finally achieve the rank of Eagle Scout is very fulfilling to him as well. We're here for the Scouts. Parents, they have their own other unique challenges, but Teddy, thank you for, Brian, thank you for all that you did for the troop, and we look forward to you participating in more events as well as all our Eagle Scouts. So, without delay. The bridge builder. An old man traveling along a highway came at an evening cold and gray to a chasm vast and deep and wide. The old man crossed in a twilight dim. The sullen stream had no fears for him. But he turned, went safe on the other side, and built a bridge to span the tide. Old man, cried a fellow pilgrim near, you're wasting your time building here. Your journey will end with the closing day. You will never again pass this way. You have crossed the chasm deep and wide. Why build you this bridge at eventide? The bridger lifted his old gray head. Good friend, in the path I have come, he said, they have forthwith after me today. A youth whose feet must pass this way. The stream which has been as naught to me, to that fair old hair youth may a pitfall be. He too must cross in twilight dim. Good friend, I am building this bridge for him.
This award is presented in memory of Donald Benoit, the originator of the Eagle Knife tradition in Troop 1 Stowe, and an exceptional bridge builder. Troop 1 Stowe hereby presents to Edmund Burke and Connor Bernklow the Bridge Builder Knife as recognition for achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. It represents the sharp intelligence, pointed determination, and strength of character necessary to attain the Eagle rank, and symbolizes the lifelong bond between Scoutmaster and Scout. Presented on this the second day of March 2019. Congratulations.
One thing you may not have noted is that Teddy received a brand new knife. Connor received a used. However, the used knife belongs to his father. So, congratulations to you both.
Thank you, Gary and John Paul. Both Eagles, would you like to say a few words at this time?
First, I want to say thank you all for coming. But I would like to congratulate Connor for attaining the rank of Eagle Scout. Connor actually signed off the first ever Boy Scout requirement I completed. During my first camp out in 6th grade, he spent the longest time teaching me how to tie a bowline knot. Knots never were and are still not my strongest scouting ability. After a long time, I tied it right for the first time. He asked me to tie it again, and after all that practice, I couldn't do it twice in a row. So he had to teach me again. Finally, I mastered the knot. It took way longer than it should have, but I got it down. After, Gary walked in, not knowing how long I had to practice to master this starter knot, and asked Connor if he could teach me to tie it with one hand. Connor immediately screamed no to teaching me to tie the knot with one hand, knowing how long it took with two hands, and we both laughed for the longest time, knowing that that would take twice as long. I would like to thank all the Scouts, current and former, for the memories like those that I will always cherish going forward. I have countless memories from trips ranging from the Stowtown Forest all the way to Glacier National Park in Montana. Because I went to St. John's and not Neshoba, Scouts was a great way for me to maintain friends during and after my freshman year. I would also like to thank Jeff Tyler for being my Eagle coach. I truly would not have been able to attain the rank of Eagle Scout without his guidance and coaching. Jeff and I had a lot of fun working on planning and organizing my project, but he also taught me a tremendous amount about how to make large tasks seem more tangible. I would also like to thank Gary and JP for leading such an incredible troop and for providing me with skills that I can remember and use for the rest of my life. Not only is it an honor to be an Eagle Scout, but it is also an honor to be on the long list of Eagles in Troop 1 Stowe that JP and Gary have made possible by all of their efforts towards scouting in Stowe. Finally, I would like to thank my family for their constant and unconditional support throughout my scouting career. I'm very thankful for all that my parents have done for me in and outside of Scouts. My parents are two of the most hardworking people I know, and the praise the both of them gave me for attaining the rank of Eagle means more than they could ever know. Once again, thank you to everyone who helped me in any way on my trail at Eagle. Thank you.
I don't have an actual speech like Teddy. I just have a couple of thank yous I want to say. First, I want to thank everyone for coming here today, for coming in the snow. Both for me and Teddy, this is something we've both worked very hard for, and we really appreciate everyone for coming out. I'd like to thank Mike Wood for being the MC today. Mike, to me and Teddy, has been a great leader, good friend over these past 10 years we've been in Scouts. So, thank you, really appreciate it. Next person I want to thank is Jeff Tyler. Jeff was also my Eagle coach. The amount of work that Jeff puts in is insane to get everyone who gets Eagle to get Eagle. Sorry, I'm not great at speaking. But Jeff puts in so much work so that we could all get Eagle, and I'm really grateful for that, Jeff. Thank you. I'd like to thank a lot of the adult leadership of the troop, and any adults that help out with the troop. Like I see in the audience, John Wood, John Peters, Brad Wheeler, Tim Canton. All you guys do a lot of the dirty work behind the scenes that not everyone sees, and I know I and everyone else in the troop is really appreciative for everything that you guys do. I'd like to thank the fire chief here, Joseph Landry, as well as anyone who helped on my project, scout or friend. It was a very time-consuming project, and I would not have been able to get it done without all the help that you guys gave me. So thank you very much. I'd like to thank all my fellow Scouts who are currently here and who have already passed on. You guys were the ones that made it fun. You guys were the ones, the reason I kept coming back. So thank you for making it fun. I'd like to thank both John Paul and Karen Benoit. John Paul has been running this troop so amazing for the last 30 years now. And it's incredible when they say at the beginning that we have a much higher rate. It's about double the national average, and that's all attributed to the work that John Paul does. And Karen Benoit too. Karen does so many things behind the scenes. She's really great, and I really thank her and John Paul. I want to thank my mom and my sister, my grandmother. I know in our family we don't really, we have a lot of scouting in our family, and it takes up a lot of time, so I really thank you guys for being flexible and being able to manage all of that. Finally, I want to thank my dad. He was the guy that first got me into scouting. He would always say the scout oath to me before I went to bed, which I never knew why. But ever since I've been in scouting, he's been helping me all the way. He's been on almost every camp out I've been on. He helped me a lot with the Eagle Project just to get me doing it, even though sometimes I wanted him to shut up because he wouldn't stop talking about it. Seriously, thank you, Dad, for everything you've done, helping me as a better scout, a better man. I really appreciate it. Again, once again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming here today. I know I didn't name everyone, and it's hard to name everyone because everyone in this room has helped either me or Teddy to where we are today, and for that I really am grateful, and I really do thank you.
Thank you, Teddy and Connor. Would everyone please rise? As an appropriate closing to this Eagle Court of Honor, I would ask Teddy and Connor to lead us in reaffirming the Scout Law.
Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Color Guard, come to the front. All right, this Eagle Court of Honor is now concluded. Will you please join us for some refreshments immediately following the ceremony in the back of the room? Thank you all for attending, participating in, and sharing in this joyous and solemn occasion. Also in the back of the room, you are welcome to review Connor and Teddy's Eagle Project book and other scouting memorabilia. It's over here in the corner. Thank you, everybody, and give them a round of applause.